Quick note, this is an AI-assisted recap made for learning, not the original video, and not an official translation. And one more thing up front, everything here is for education, not financial advice. Today's guests are two Wall Street insiders known as the Tiger Sisters. One is a Harvard MBA who worked at Goldman Sachs. The other is a Stanford MBA who worked at LinkedIn. They've been inside the rooms most people never enter. Here's the fact that started it all. After a full decade of tracking the numbers, women scored lower than men in every single financial literacy category. Not most categories. Not some of them. Every single one, year after year, without a real exception across the whole 10-year window. A pattern that consistent isn't random noise. It's a signal that something bigger is going on, and it's worth stopping to ask exactly what. Now, the easy explanations are the wrong ones. The sisters are blunt about this: the gap has nothing to do with intelligence, and nothing to do with access. Women are not less capable of understanding money. And in an age of endless free information, it isn't that the knowledge is locked away from them. So if it isn't brains and it isn't access, the real cause has to be something structural, something built into the system itself. Here's the claim at the heart of the whole conversation. The finance world was never designed for women to win in the first place. That reframes everything. If the game was built without you in mind, then falling behind isn't a personal failure, it's the design working exactly as intended. And that shift matters, because you can't fix a problem you keep blaming yourself for. Naming the real cause is where change actually starts. So what did they actually see? For years they sat inside Goldman Sachs, inside top tech companies, and inside the boardrooms where big decisions get made. From there, they watched how money really moves at the very top, the assumptions, the shortcuts, and the unwritten rules that outsiders on the wrong side of the door almost never get to see. And their whole point in speaking up is generous: they want to take that hard-won knowledge and hand it back to the women who were kept outside. One of the walls they point at is language itself. Money hides behind a thick layer of jargon that quietly whispers, "This world isn't for you." But here's the trick most experts will never admit out loud. Strip the fancy, intimidating words away, and a huge amount of finance turns out to be surprisingly simple, almost obvious, underneath. So demystifying the language is already half the battle. Once the words stop intimidating you, the ideas behind them stop feeling out of reach. Underneath the knowledge gap, they see a second gap that's often even bigger and harder to name: a confidence gap, the quiet, nagging feeling that you're just not the kind of person who is supposed to do this. And confidence doesn't arrive by waiting for it. You don't read your way into feeling ready, you build the feeling by actually doing the thing. So the fix isn't more perfect preparation before you begin. It's taking one small, real action now, and letting the confidence catch up afterward. So what do you actually do on Monday morning? Their advice is refreshingly plain, almost too plain to sound like advice. Ask the basic questions out loud, even the ones that feel embarrassingly simple. Learn the vocabulary one word at a time, and keep showing up in the conversations and rooms where money actually gets discussed and decided. Because no question is too simple to ask. The person willing to say "I don't understand, please explain," is usually the one who ends up understanding most. Here's the encouraging part, and again, this is education, not a recommendation about what to buy or when. Financial knowledge tends to compound over time. Each thing you learn makes the next thing easier to grasp, and then the one after that, so the gap between you and the so-called experts narrows a lot faster than you'd ever expect. That's why starting early and staying consistent matters so much. Not because of any single move, but because small steps stack up quietly and powerfully. So here's the takeaway, and notice what it is not. The message was never a hot stock tip or a promise of some secret shortcut to riches. The real message is simpler and bigger: you belong in the conversation about money. It was never only meant for someone else, so take up your space. The original video is linked in the description, so go and watch the full thing. Thanks for watching, take care of your money, and see you next time.